Cool. Hello, ladies. Welcome back.
Bonjour. Thank
Hello.
Hi.
you. Good to see everyone.
Yeah, good, good. So, conversation three. Anyone wants to start?
I can.
Yeah?
So we talked about asking for support, asking for help, asking if you are a published author, asking for reviews, and defining entrepreneurship, as you had put it when we were not recording, is when women support each other, there should be no question about how to support them, that there should be an open dialogue and asking for what you need so that you can not only boost your business, but we all know collectively, if we help each other, and I'm a very good testament of that. I walk this journey with many souls. People compliment me, but I'm here because of many collaborations, seen and unseen, conscious and unconscious. And asking another woman for help should not have any baggage, shame, guilt. And I think what comes up for me is capacity. Like it's a lot of work to go and ask. It's a lot of work to say, give me a review. It's a lot of work to move beyond what you've been told and what you've been conditioned to do as a child to ask for help. So I think entrepreneurship as a woman needs that piece too. And no one talks about that
Yeah.
on Instagram. No one talks about that. How, what percentage of your job, your entrepreneurship journey, fempreneurship journey is catered to honoring the work that you've done from in and birthed from blood, sweat, and tears. There we
Yes.
go.
Yeah. No,
Whew,
absolutely.
well said.
That's the
Yeah.
that's
Woo.
the intro and the conclusion. You know what I have noticed, like many women too, entrepreneur, I'm talking about entrepreneur particularly, is in women's group, for example, it's difficult for women to come out of the ideological framework that trapped us. So it's still patriarchal. So we have those things that still holding us back. And that's what many big uh, leader coach, women leader coach, have been talking about their
Mm.
experience with women as clients because there's still things holding us back from this ideological framework. I can't ask. I'm going to look like I am in weakness or whatever. All those weird things that hold us back. But we should, uh, as mentors, coach, leaders, we should be able to really reconnect with something bigger than the belief system and really help, hands some, how do you say in English, to hand your, to help, other women
Hmm.
in that
Support.
sense. Yes, and with no barrier, no
Mm.
judgment, no ideological pre-constructed things,
Mhm.
like, oh no, in America they don't do this, it's impolite, ta 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 ta. We are all women and we
Mm.
are on the same in the same situation, which is to be visible and trusted on the market.
Hmm.
So we should
Mm.
we should help each other.
Love
Yeah.
it.
It made me think of, Sharon, I saw that you posted like an excerpt that you read on your Instagram today, I saw. And what I got from it is just the line that we are designed to work in collaboration or something like that, that idea, right? That it is very natural for us as human beings, but especially as women, to work collaboratively. Like that's built into our DNA. And what I've experienced though personally, and maybe it goes to your point, Vivian, about just the structures that we've come up in, is it is very difficult somehow, ironically, to like actually ask for help or to work in collaboration. Like, and it's ironic for me because I grew up in a very um woman-centric family. Like I was raised by a single mom. My grandmother and grandfather were never married. I have women all around me, but I came up in this like hyper independent model, right? Like you're supposed to be able to handle everything by yourself and do what you got to do and like, don't ask for help. So we are like outgrowing that is what it feels like now and coming
Yep.
into the realization that that's not natural. It's not even necessary. It's not the wisest or most efficient mode of doing anything. It is to work together and support one another. That makes sense.
Yep.
There's the other side of it too, is when somebody asks you for help, is there part of you that's fearful that if you help them too much, it'll take something away from you? That,
Ah,
that, and that's been ingrained in us as well. The competition energy, and that is not a divine feminine energy. That is very distorted, and it's something that we need to help each other release so that we can know that it's safe to support each other without losing ourselves, without giving up something that we value for ourselves. So we're working from both sides of that. It's safe to ask, but it's also safe to support. So
I like that very much. Mary,
that.
you touched something very important, and
Very well
that's
said.
about the ego. Yes, about
mhm.
the ego.
So good.
There's a no, go ahead. Go ahead, Sharon.
Well, I was going to say there's really a deep, like it's a visceral experience when you support another. It amplifies your own system. We know, like giving,
Well
what
said.
it does. And there's literally a neurotransmitter. There's chemicals that get released for us. So it does a lot of good for the one who's saying, yes, I want to help. And then there's this other piece, what you're saying too, Mary, of a whole nother nuance of we live in a culture where most of us are so incredibly overwhelmed.
Mhm.
And there is a dignity to honoring our boundaries, honoring our yes and our no with clarity, with self-honesty of being like, no, I really can't do that right now. I can't. And also here coming back full circle to what you started with, both Roshni and Vivian, you said this so beautifully of this, when we understand this isn't going to deplete us, and that when this becomes our focus, when we get really clear through that overwhelm of just like, whoa, what world am I building? I'm building a world where women's voices are so imperative. And then it just clears the debris where we're like, I'm so overwhelmed. It becomes, no, I'm standing for this, and this will have time. The time will just open that I can drop in a little note for somebody, or, stand by their side, or share about their upcoming class, or offer them, a testimony, something. And again, I'm always amazed when in those moments where I'm like, oh, I can't fit anything else in my week, but I do. And it maybe takes 5 to 15 minutes, and it just absolutely rearranges my ideas of how much little time it takes to show up for somebody.
Oh, so
Mhm.
beautiful.
And the other thing also I've been exposed to is how to communicate. People think of communication as using email or text, or people think of the means of communication. But the old paradigm, or let's say before 2000, I know people who got MA or PhD in communication from academia, and it was about language. You see the difference? So we
Mhm.
are in an era where communication has been like a sliding meaning, like semantic, completely different. It's about the means of communication. So I can abbreviate, like LOL. I can do this, I can do that. This expression means that because it's AI, but it's not communication. These are codes. Now, how do you express yourself? How do you express your needs? How do you relate to other people? All of that is communication.
Mhm.
And we have to probably also um, rethink uh, in a society what is the real communication from human to human, you know.
I think one of the things that I had a meeting earlier this morning, that as the awakening continues on the planet and within the collective, and the feminine energy is starting to be rebalanced, no matter what things look like now on the 3D level, the energy will rebalance in the next 30 and 40 years. And hey, we'll all be 80 together. But the idea of communication is going to be telepathic, intuitive, speaking on the higher self, because our evolution of our higher selves is inevitable, because a lot of us are thinking, what is happening on the planet? How do I help? Where do I play my part? The idea of communication then becomes something from the heart, from a higher level of existence. Telepathy, which is what I experienced this morning with my meeting guest, and learning to understand nonverbal cues as well. And social media makes it so easy to support, right? Let's repost this. Let's talk about this for two or three lines, helping to refer someone, helping to know someone's work through your own social channel. So it becomes very easy. Yes, it's tedious. And to ask for it, for me, when I was earlier on in my journey, when I would ask for help, I would freeze. I would freeze. It's not within my nature. I'm hyper independent, hyper independent. And that's a function of being a Virgo. I think that's part of I think Latoya, you would also understand, but then also the way I was raised, everything hyper independent. But to ask for help was a sign of weakness. It was a sign of, what are they going to think of me? But now I don't think like that. If I ask someone for help and the response is either favorable or unfavorable, it's nothing to do with me. It's to do with how they're receiving the request. So there's still a lot of work to do.
That's interesting. That's
It's
interesting.
interesting too. Can I say one example? Because now, Rashni, you brought up the Virgo-ness of it, right? And I was thinking of I have a good friend of mine who's also Virgo energy, and it presents as hyper independent in the world. The face is like logical, and I got work to do, and like get out of my way. But we know internally is a very sensitive little girl inside, right? And we know that, but we don't put that out to the world, right? But my good friend, she reached out to me yesterday and she was dealing with something, and she called me today, and she was kind of freaking out about something she was dealing with in life, and she wanted my perspective. But it felt really good. And to your point, Sharon, of how it actually heals the helper too when you help, because she called me, and I don't know. I think that she wouldn't necessarily have reached out to anyone else with this issue. And she just kind of melted into, we were on the phone, and she was just like going. She was just like, this is what's happening, and da, 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 I don't know what to do. And like very like anxious, and she said, I just needed to hear your perspective and your calm voice on it. And I gave her, I'm like, this is what I would do. And she's like, and I gave her the words for it. And even she was like, after I gave her the words to use to help in the conflict, she's like, can you not like text me that? Because I can't remember anything you said. I'm like, of course, yes, I'll text it to you after we hang up. But she was so grateful at the end. She said, thank you for allowing me to like be a whiny little brat with you right now. And I said, you can always, or maybe not always, but you definitely have a past to be a whiny little baby with me. That's okay. And I realized that that is for both of us because of that Virgo, like, straighten up and get stuff done. Well, we do that most of the time, but you do need a soft space to land where people understand you and you can be that. And there's no judgment. There's no like, now she's not in my mind a whiny little baby. It never will be that. But that's just a part of her that needed a place to go. And I feel so, honored and relieved that she could come to me with that because it feels like, oh, then probably there's somebody I could call and be a whiny little brat. And it's probably you, Russian.
No
Have you
problem.
noticed?
Doors open. Doors open.
Have you
Well,
noticed? Have you noticed that before communication or asking for help, whatever, was sort of intellectual, concrete, or practical? It was never about you. But now communication, and that's part of the conscious marketing. I'm not talking about the regular marketing just to be flashy, but the conscious one is to reach people to their heart. So the level of communication of where it comes from and where it's going to land is also heart to heart now. Okay, I am a woman. I am a survivor of sexual abuse, or from a family of alcohol drinking. But, now we speak the truth. Before it was more conceptualized to show that I am in control. I am intelligent. I am now. I want to know who this person is, or can you
Wow.
help me? This is where I am at now. I have no money. I live in the street. I need some help. Can you offer me a room in your house?
Wow.
There's truth that's people want to see now, and that's the way you touch people, and yeah. So I think that's also
Well
interesting.
said. So beautiful.
yeah, there's so many like angles where, of course, in our incredibly beautiful sisterhood here that we're bringing in. And it's like we can hear from the past, which, is starting to release, but we're up against these primal instincts where back in the day, if you were weak and you would fall, you'd fall down and everyone would keep running and they'd leave you.
Yeah.
So like our brains know this. And so why would we ever say, oh my God, I'm on the ground and please give me a hand up? Because everyone was gone already. You knew you were going to literally be returned to the earth either by being eaten by prey, or just a really slow, painful death. So that's still starting to break down. And then I love what you just brought forward, Vivian, is like this is the future. This is that like evolutionary leap we're stepping into, where when we ask for help, we create a whole nother reality where people care.
Yes.
They show up. Yeah, sometimes they completely ignore us. Sometimes they're like, forget you. I've got other things to do. But that also creates a whole nother reality because then we realize like, oh, those aren't the people we want in our sphere. Like, yes, we acknowledge them. Okay. But we want to build these deeper networks of honesty with people who can go there heart to heart and not flinch when we share the underbelly of our stories for why we actually do need the help.
This reminds me of a story where it was pouring rain and I had an umbrella, my only one in the car, and this elderly man was walking and I rolled my car window down because he was walking completely soaked to the bone. I handed him my umbrella and he threw it on the ground. Like, he didn't want my help. I felt kind of taken aback and I said, did he feel threatened? Because I did hand it to him straight. But the thing is that some people don't want the help either. They just don't, they know.
Yeah.
Right. And so that was the lesson. I'm like, okay. And I left the umbrella there because I was a little scared, and then I drove away. And moral of the story, some people don't want help either. Right?
But look at the GoFundMe thing that has started in the last 5-10 years. Complete strangers hearing a story and just,
Money,
coming to the rescue, really,
Yes.
really helping. I think that really talks about the future. This is what we're looking toward. This is, there's so many little great stories. Like the guy who was at a game and put on put out there on YouTube or something, I could really use a beer. And he put his Venmo in there and he made like $5,000 people contributing because he
Just beer fund.
he was like, here's a beer, So yeah, people are willing to help if we ask. And that's the lesson there is like, if you're brave enough to ask,
Mm,
who knows
yeah,
what could happen.
yeah. And ask for something that touches the good cause,
Like a
and
beer
not
in the
just
game.
there was an experiment. Yeah, but because there was an experiment when I used to live in New York City. There was an experiment. A guy, two guys. The first one was dressed like sloppy. He would walk in the train in the wagon of the train, and he would say each time he changed a wagon, he would say, please, everybody, I live in the street. I need some money to buy food. And some people would give, and that's it. And then there was a second man that entered. And I was sitting there watching the scene. The second guy comes in. He's like dressed in a suit and tie and everything. And he says, hello, everyone. I will need $10,000 to pay for my car this month. Can anyone help me? And you could see people looking at him, paying attention to him because it was unusual for someone who looks like successful asking for money. So, of course, nobody gave money. We all laugh. Like, I mean, you're supposed to be successful and you're asking for 10,000. It was weird. But just it's how do they call it? Social experiment.
Mhm.
To show you that something striking that comes out of ordinary will attract more attention. So, of course, the guy who was asking for money to eat, he was just a part of a role. He was not real. But there are real people who are asking for food. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that also is interesting how the crowd, react to things. So if it's a good cause, yeah, people are more listening. It's like, wow, that could be me. Thank God I have a family who can help me. But some people don't have a brother, sister, or parents, or friends even. But yeah,
Yeah, this feels like a invitation to do our own social experiment because it's so nuanced, isn't it? This is so nuanced. For example, the people who might really need help don't feel like they can ask. Those who actually don't need it are asking for it.
Wow.
Those who, do you know what I mean? Those
yeah,
who
yeah,
want to help might overextend and give to people
yeah,
who actually really, don't need it because they're working on their own inner journey with that. And then, who want to help, but then we're not being asked. So then we don't,
yeah,
like, it's so, like, the many angles here. I think we need to do our own little social experiment. Each of
yeah,
us should go out and do like one aspect of this and
yeah.
come report back and see what
I
happens.
love it. I like how
That's
you
cool.
break everything down. I like that. I like all
Yeah.
the angles.
Uh,
Beautiful.
so let's have a word for the end. On my screen, I see Latoya first.
Ask for help. That's the moral of the story.
That's good. Sharon.
So I would say, believe you are worthy of receiving.
Good. Mary.
I would say have courage.
Mhm.
Be brave.
Yeah. And Roshni?
Offer the help because the right hand shouldn't know what the left hand is doing.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And I will say help whenever you can, even closer to you. Your brother, your mother may need help and you don't even see it. So help your community first before helping the world. We can't help the world just like that. Start with your own around you. Good. Well, ladies, thank you so much. It was
you. Thank you
very nice
all.
and see you soon.